Scorpio, Scorpiolo, Scorpiolo. Welcome to January 2020. Scorpio, you made it here in one piece. Mentioning that, happy Gregorian calendar New Year. If you so happen to be new to the channel, hello and welcome, and thank God we found each other. And if you are so happen to be returning to the channel here, what's up? I hope you're doing great too. Okay, Scorpio, let's just hop right in here to your reading here. Scorpio, what drives us, in a sense, to feel the urge or the need or the want for aversion? Like aversion, aka getting back at someone. Or let's better say it like this, what drives us for the desire, Scorpio, I desire to make someone feel the way that they made us feel regarding negatively or a low vibration or sadness. Which of the two, Scorpio, is more satisfying for you or to you, actually getting back at that person and knowing that you were able to get back at that person and to hurt them, or satisfying your desire and your want to make them feel the way that you felt? Because if you look at that situation, Scorpio, it's like usually like a lose-lose situation, Scorpio, because I can understand, the want, Scorpio, to level things out or to equalize things or to, in a sense, balance the scales. But, taking the higher road, Scorpio, or transcending that lower vibration to a higher vibration and giving it the love and the spiritual attention and transcendence that it so desperately needs is what the greatest satisfaction is in hindsight. But at the end of the day, you don't really want that person to feel the same pain that you did because you felt that pain and you don't want to give that to someone else, And Scorpio, the fact that, when we come from a situation or we have experienced individually a situation that was very painful, that was very detrimental to our emotional health, or was very difficult or trying on our emotional body, we have firsthand experience how that feels and how that it is to be within that vibration or within that space, that vibratory space. So we then would not want to ever wish that upon anyone else. Where it's like through us experiencing it, Scorpio, we've built compassion and we know that the end sometimes doesn't justify the means. And then it's like that old saying, Scorpio, remember where you come from, in a sense, where remembering helps build integrity. You have gained some clarity, or you have been given news, or you just now understand or know or cognizant of something, Scorpio, that really has thrown you off balance here. And it's like, intuitively, Scorpio, and you feel it deep in your soul, like you have to transcend this. You have to find a way of doing the best that you can to leave the situation better than you found it or that it was presented to you, But you're struggling, Scorpio, with your inner and outer world and your inner and outer desires, Scorpio, where it's if we choose what we know is right and what is the best way regarding godly, regarding loving, that energy, Scorpio, will be remembered and it will be the most profound, not only in the moment, but also for lifetimes, and it becomes part of your lineage, Scorpio, and your legacy. Does your inner world match your outer world, Scorpio? If your inner world and your outer world don't necessarily match or reflect one another in positivity and in fluidity, it may be creating inner tensions and as well as external pressures, where then it's preventing you or keeping you from you being authentic and from showing and being your authentic self, where it's you can go from the vibration or the energy of what you want to do to what you need to do. Because through that process, we understand what authenticity is and we allow our authenticity to shine through, which then means that we actually achieve transcendence, not only of the self, but of the situation and of the other person, place, or thing involved. But not only that, but it's really what your heart truly desires. And when we take the higher road or choose the the higher thing to do, we make the situation better for everyone in turn, and not just for ourselves, but for the other people, places, and things involved, you know? And then we become that example. You know, Scorp, because it's like, you know that right now you could just walk away and just be like, I'm out, I'm done, that's it, disappear and just drop out, or can I say, like, fall off the face of the earth, you know? But then at the same time, you kind of like battling with yourself because you're kind of like, well, why do I have to be the one to leave, or why do I have to be the one to to remove myself? Like, I shouldn't be put in that position to remove myself. Like, I can see, like, and hear you guys going back and forth with yourself. You know, sometimes we must deal with situations, where we must feel it, and sometimes we're put in positions where we, or our soul, our higher self, wants us and needs us to experience a situation where it's like this, Scorp, where it's like sometimes God calms the storm, you know, but then also sometimes, Scorpio, God calms the child instead of the storm, or God calms the child and allows the storm to rage on. Because, Scorpio, like, sometimes only through suffering, or experiencing something, the highs and the lows, is where we find and cultivate, like, humility, and it's also where we begin the roots of, or we begin the process of, like, developing empathy and compassion, not for ourselves but for other people, places, and things, where then we learn, Scorpio, and we develop and cultivate the understanding of where we don't see a difference between the self and the other, you know so, Scorpio, like, that's what I'm kind of feeling and getting here for you this month, where it's a lot of, like, this truth that's coming through for you, this clarity that's coming through for you. It's going to be like a challenge regarding what are you going to do with that now, because I always let you guys know, and I'm going to say it again here too, Scorpio, uh, with the archetype, or being born under the sign of Scorpio, you, in this lifetime or in that incarnation, learn a lot about power and powerlessness dynamics, where it's like sometimes we may obtain or have or experience the power before we experience powerlessness, where then we kind of hold that power energy, meaning like delegation, um, to an arrogant standard, and then when we experience the powerlessness, we then understand why and uphold the importance of when we are in that position of power, or we have that, why it's so important to understand what are we going to do with that power, and what is the intention about that, about having that power. How are we going to delegate that? How are we going to exhibit that? And how are we going to portray that and ride that energy out? Are we going to choose to use it for the higher octaves, or the higher vibrational, spiritual, godly, loving, way of doing things? Or are we going to use it to place suppression and power over or on other people, places, and things, Because then, if we choose to go the left way, the one placing power and using it for like, service to self gratification, we then put those people, places, and things in the feeling of powerlessness, and then we really ch- we really are not much different from that person, place, or thing when we put them in powerlessness, because then when we had the power in our hands, we chose to do the wrong thing with it, or the lower vibration of it. So then therefore we're in that same position, and we're no different from that other person, place, or thing that we exhibited that power over. But all right, Scorpio, that's what I'm getting for you for January 2020. If you'd like to book a personal reading for yourself, visit intuitiveperceptions.com. You can contact me there, see my services and everything of the sort. You can also contact me on Facebook Messenger. I'm available on there for you as well. And all the good stuff and information is in the description box below. All right, Scorpio, we'll see you next month. And as always, God bless and love and light.